They say wartime cooking was all about sacrifice and going without. But during World War II, it was something else entirely. It was the greatest culinary innovation in American history. Picture this. It's 1943. Sugar's rationed to 2 pounds per family per month, meets a luxury saved for Sunday dinner. Butter exists only in memories and ration books. How do you feed a family when half the grocery store is empty? You get creative. This wasn't deprivation cooking. These were masterpieces of necessity. Recipes born from love, desperation, and pure American ingenuity. Our grandmothers and great-grandmothers preserved this knowledge. Today, I'm taking you back when cooking wasn't about convenience or Instagram. It was about survival, transformed into sustenance. Stay with me. These 25 forgotten recipes tell America's real wartime story. Number 1. Victory Garden Soup. Every backyard became part of the solution. This was liquid patriotism. Every spoonful carried the weight of doing your part for the war effort. 1942. When every backyard became a battlefield against hunger, victory gardens sprouted across America. Neighbors sharing seeds, sharing hope, sharing responsibility for feeding themselves. Margaret Chen planted her first garden in San Francisco's Richmond district, April 1942. Japanese-American neighbors gone to camps, their abandoned plots calling for someone to tend them. Take whatever vegetables survive the week. Onions, carrots, potatoes, maybe some wilted greens. Simmer in water with salt, herbs from the windowsill. Magic happened in that pot. During the attack on Pearl Harbor, communities learned self-reliance meant survival. This soup fed families while sons fought overseas. Every garden, a small victory against rationing. Humble vegetables transformed into something nourishing, warming. Broth that tasted like determination. Steam rising like prayers for boys who might not come home. Margaret's soup recipe spread through her neighborhood, block by block, family by family. Each pot connecting kitchen to kitchen, heart to heart. Every spoonful carried message. We endure together. We feed each other. We make something beautiful from whatever remains. Number 2. Mock apple pie. They called it mock apple pie, but nothing about it was pretending. This was alchemy practiced in American kitchens during sugar shortages, 1943, when apples cost more than most families earned in a day. Real fruit became luxury, reserved for special occasions, but pie remained essential to the American spirit. Ruby Henderson needed dessert for her husband's birthday, December 1943, Chester, Pennsylvania. 2 kids, 1 income, an empty fruit bowl staring back at her. Ritz crackers soaked in lemon water, sugar, and cinnamon, baked between pastry crusts until bubbling. Science turned saltines into something that fooled taste buds completely. During the Battle of the Bulge, this pie appeared on tables across America, families celebrating what they had instead of mourning what they'd lost. Those crackers transformed into tender, sweet filling, flaky crust hiding the secret. Each bite tasting exactly like apple pie should taste. Pure domestic magic. Ruby's neighbors started requesting the recipe. Soon, every church potluck featured mock apple pies. Tradition adapted, not abandoned. Innovation disguised as familiar comfort. Every slice proved powerful truth. Home isn't about having everything. It's about making everything you have feel like enough. Number 3. Spam and potato casserole. Canned meat arrived as lifeline. This was portable prosperity. Spam traveled from Hawaii to Heartland, carrying flavor and protein when both were precious. 1944, when meat rationing meant families saw beef maybe once a week. Canned meat became staple, lifeline, and surprisingly versatile protein source for creative cooks. Dorothy Walsh stretched her family's meat ration in Detroit. March 1944. Husband working double shifts at Ford, 4 kids growing faster than the grocery budget, layers sliced potatoes with diced Spam, cream soup, and whatever cheese remained. Bake until golden and bubbling. One dish feeding 6 people with dignity intact. During D-Day preparations, this casserole sustained families while fathers worked around the clock in defense plants. Hot meal waiting when they stumbled home, exhausted. Spam transformed from military necessity into family favorite. Salty, savory, satisfying. Potatoes absorbed every flavor, creating harmony from humble ingredients. Comfort food that actually comforted. Dorothy's recipe traveled through factory neighborhoods. shared at union meetings, church socials, and over back fences. Community built one casserole at a time. Every bite carried lesson. Abundance isn't about expensive ingredients. It's about feeding the people you love until they feel loved. Number 4. Rationing cake nitrogen monoxide. EGGS, nitrogen monoxide milk. They called it Wacky Cake, but there was nothing crazy about it. This was chemistry meeting creativity, when baking basics disappeared from store shelves. 1942, when eggs cost more than wages could cover. Butter became black market commodity. Milk rationed like liquid gold. But birthdays still needed celebrating. Helen Kowalski faced her daughter's 7th birthday, June 1942. Chicago's South Side, empty icebox, nearly empty wallet, but full heart determined to make magic happen. Mix flour, sugar, cocoa, and baking soda. Add water, oil, and vinegar. Pour into pan. Bake until toothpick comes clean. Science created sweetness without traditional ingredients. During the siege of Stalingrad, American kitchens practiced their own form of resistance, making celebration possible when everything seemed impossible. Joy disguised as chocolate cake, vinegar and baking soda created lift and lightness. Oil provided moisture butter couldn't. Result tasted exactly like childhood should taste. Rich, sweet, and full of love. Helen's cake recipe spread through immigrant neighborhoods. Polish grandmothers teaching Italian mothers, communities sharing secrets of making something from almost nothing. Survival disguised as sweetness. Every slice proved enduring truth. Love finds a way to celebrate. Even when cupboards are empty, hearts can remain full. Number 5. Liberty cabbage rolls. Naming changed, but flavors transcended politics. This was edible patriotism. Cabbage rolls carried the taste of home countries while proving loyalty to new homeland. 1943, when sauerkraut became Liberty cabbage and anything German-sounding needed American rebranding. But flavor transcends politics. Good food remains good food, whatever you call it. Anna Mueller worried about her family's German heritage. September 1943, Milwaukee neighborhood where suspicion followed accents. Her children spoke English, but recipes spoke German. Blanch cabbage leaves until tender, fill with rice, ground meat if available, onions, and seasonings. Roll tight, simmer in tomato sauce. Old world technique, new world adaptation. During the Italian campaign, these rolls fed families, while sons fought against their ancestral homeland. Complex loyalties simmered in every pot alongside dinner. Cabbage transformed humble filling into elegant meal. Steam carrying aromas that smelled like belonging. Each roll wrapped tight like secrets, like safety, like home. Anna's rolls became neighborhood favorite. Recipe shared without mentioning its origin. Food building bridges where words might build walls. Flavor creating community. Every bite carried message. America tastes like everything we brought here. Heritage lives in our kitchens. Love speaks every language. Number 6. Carrot cookies. Vegetables became desserts through creative desperation, but nothing about them felt medicinal. These were sweetness disguised as vegetables, nutrition masquerading as treats for sugar-starved families. 1944, when sugar rationing made candy a distant memory. Desserts required creativity, substitution, and willingness to experiment with whatever remained in root cellars. Betty Johnson needed treats for her children's lunchboxes. October 1944, rural Nebraska. Victory garden overflowing with carrots. Nobody wanted to eat raw or boiled again. Grate carrots fine, mix with oats, flour, spices, and precious bit of honey. Drop on cookie sheets, bake until golden. Vegetables transformed into something children actually requested. During the Battle of Lati Gulf, these cookies traveled in care packages overseas. Mothers sending love disguised as homemade treats. Sweetness that traveled across oceans. Carrots provided natural sugar, moisture, and vibrant orange color. Oats added texture and heartiness. Result tasted like oatmeal. Cookies, healthier, more interesting cousin. Betty's recipe spread through farming communities, shared at Grange meetings, church socials, and harvest festivals. Rural wisdom meeting, wartime necessity, innovation born from abundance of the wrong thing. Every cookie proved important lesson. Nutrition doesn't have to taste like medicine. Love makes everything sweeter. Even vegetables can become treats. Number 7. Dandelion salad. This wasn't just weeds for dinner. This was free food hiding in plain sight. Dandelion greens carried more nutrition than most families could afford to buy. 1943, when fresh vegetables cost premium prices. Grocery store lettuce became luxury item. But backyards, vacant lots, and roadside ditches offered free salad to those who knew how to look. Giuseppe Rossi taught his grandchildren to forage. April 1943, South Philadelphia. Old country knowledge, meeting new world necessity. Eyes that saw food where others saw nuisance. Pick young dandelion leaves before flowers bloom. Wash carefully, dress with oil and vinegar. Maybe add hard-boiled egg if chickens were laying. Nature's pharmacy disguised as dinner salad. During the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, American families learned their own lessons about finding sustenance everywhere. Freedom meant knowing how to feed yourself from whatever grew nearby. Bitter greens transformed under simple dressing. Wild flavors that tasted like spring, like possibility, like refusing to go hungry when abundance grew underfoot. Giuseppe's lessons spread through Italian neighborhoods. Children learning to see food where textbooks saw weeds. Immigrant wisdom teaching American resilience. Survival disguised as tradition. Every leaf carried message. Earth provides for those who pay attention. Knowledge weighs nothing, costs nothing, feeds everything. Wisdom grows in the most unexpected places. Number 8. Meatless loaf plant proteins stepped in. They called it mystery loaf, but nothing mysterious about it. This was plant protein masquerading as Sunday dinner, when Sunday dinner required rationing stamps families didn't have. 1942, when meat became so scarce that vegetarian meals stopped being choice and became necessity. Protein had to come from somewhere. Creativity filled the gap. Rose Patterson faced Meatless Sunday, November 1942, small-town Kansas. Church potluck, expecting her famous meatloaf. Empty meat case at the grocery store, staring back accusingly. Mix lentils, nuts, breadcrumbs, onions, and seasonings. Form into loaf shape, bake until firm and browned. Texture that fooled the mouth, flavor that satisfied the soul. During the North African campaign, American families learned their own battles against scarcity. Every meal became victory against going without. Innovation disguised as tradition. Lentils and nuts transformed into something substantial, satisfying. Gravy made from drippings that somehow existed, result that made skeptics ask for second helpings. Rose's recipe traveled through church networks, shared at ladies' aid meetings and potluck suppers. Community recipes solving community problems. Collective wisdom defeating individual want. Every slice proved fundamental truth. Sustenance comes in many forms. Love makes everything taste like more. Family gathers around tables, not ingredients. Number 9. Water pie. Liquid transformed into custard. This was culinary magic performed with ingredients most people didn't know could make pie. Water transformed into something that satisfied dessert cravings. 1944, when fruit fillings required rationing stamps and sugar came in government-regulated portions. But pie remained essential to American identity. Dessert found a way. Marie Dupuy needed dessert for harvest celebration. August 1944, rural Louisiana, community gathering, expecting her famous pies. Fruit scarce, sugar scarcer, but expectations unchanged. Boil water with sugar, butter, and vanilla. Thicken with flour, pour into pastry shell. Bake until golden. Chemistry created custard-like filling from almost nothing. During the liberation of Paris, American kitchens practiced their own form of liberation. Freedom from depending on scarce ingredients. Independence disguised as dessert. Water transformed under heat and sweetness. Simple ingredients becoming something smooth, creamy, and surprisingly satisfying. Magic performed in ordinary ovens by extraordinary cooks. Marie's pie amazed harvest guests. Recipes shared and requested until everyone knew the secret. Community knowledge defeating individual limitation. Innovation disguised as tradition. Every slice carried revelation. Abundance exists in unexpected places. Creativity conquers scarcity. Love makes everything taste like more than it is. Number 10. Oatmeal meat. They called it mock hamburger, but nothing mock about how it satisfied hunger. Oats transformed into protein substitute when protein became more precious than gold. 1943, when ground beef cost more than most families earned in a day. But texture, flavor, and satisfaction could be created from grains that cost pennies per pound. Frank O'Brien stretched his family's meat budget. March 1943, Boston's Southie neighborhood. 5 kids, 1 paycheck, and growing stomachs that couldn't understand rationing. Toast oats until golden, mix with onions, seasonings, and bit of broth. Form into patties, fry until crispy. Texture that fooled hungry mouths into thinking they were eating meat. During the Battle of Guadalcanal, families learned their own strategies for feeding troops. Kitchen table became command center. Oatmeal became ally in battle against hunger. Oats transformed under heat and seasoning. Nutty flavor, substantial texture, and satisfying protein that filled stomachs and lifted spirits. Grain masquerading as meat with remarkable success. Frank's recipe spread through working-class neighborhoods, shared at union halls and church socials. Men who built ships by day built meals by night. Innovation born from necessity. Number 11. Honey wheat bread. This wasn't just homemade bread. This was edible independence. Honey wheat loaves carried the taste of self-sufficiency when store-bought bread became luxury item. 1942, when sugar rationing made commercial bakeries reduce production. Families learned to create their own sweetness, their own sustenance, their own daily bread. Catherine Wright learned bread making from necessity. May 1942, rural Montana, nearest bakery, 50 miles away. Honey from her own beehives, wheat from neighbors' fields. Mix whole wheat flour with honey, yeast, and warm water. Knead until smooth. Let rise shape into loaves. Bake until golden and hollow-sounding. Ancient skill meeting modern necessity. During the Doolittle Raid, American kitchens discovered their own form of strategic bombing, attacking hunger with homemade weapons, victory measured in satisfied children. Honey provided natural sweetness, wheat gave substance and nutrition. Result that smelled like home, tasted like safety, and filled stomachs with dignity intact. Catherine's bread became neighborhood currency, shared for favors, traded for vegetables, and given freely to families struggling harder than her own. Community built one loaf at a time. Every slice carried message. Independence tastes like honey. Security smells like baking bread. Love rises like yeast in warm places. Number 12. Peanut butter soup. They called it unusual, but nothing unusual about needing protein when meat disappeared from family tables. Peanut butter became liquid sustenance disguised as comfort food. 1944, when peanut butter provided affordable protein, families could actually find and afford. Soup stretched expensive ingredient into meal that fed everyone around the table. Martha Washington created warmth for a cold evening. January 1944, Chicago's South Side. Wind cutting through thin walls. Children needing something hot and filling before bed. Thin peanut butter with milk and broth. Add vegetables if available. Seasonings for flavor. Simmer gently until smooth and creamy. Protein soup that satisfied like no vegetable broth could. During the Anzio landings, families needed their own strategies for sustaining strength. Kitchen battles fought with whatever weapons remained in depleted pantries. Peanut butter transformed from sandwich spread into liquid nourishment. Rich, creamy, and surprisingly satisfying. Comfort food that actually provided comfort when comfort was scarce. Martha's soup warmed more than Bodie's. Recipe shared with neighbors facing same struggles. Community knowledge defeating individual hardship. Innovation disguised as compassion. Every spoonful proved enduring truth. Warmth comes from many sources. Love finds ways to nourish. Comfort exists in unexpected forms. Number 13. Mock chicken salad. This wasn't deception. This was transformation. Tuna became chicken substitute when chicken became too expensive for everyday meals, but familiar flavors remained essential. 1943, when canned tuna cost less than fresh poultry. Families learned to create familiar tastes from unfamiliar ingredients. Comfort food adapted to wartime reality. Dorothy Chen needed lunch for church social. September 1943, San Francisco's Chinatown. Community expecting her famous chicken salad. Chicken impossible to afford on husband's wages. Flake canned tuna with mayonnaise, diced celery, and seasonings. Add pickle relish for crunch, paprika for color. Serve on crackers or bread. Ocean protein masquerading as barnyard favorite. During the Italian surrender, American families celebrated their own small victories, making familiar foods from unfamiliar ingredients. Tradition adapted, not abandoned. Tuna transformed under careful seasoning. Texture that satisfied, flavor that comforted. Result that made guests ask for recipe while never suspecting substitution. Dorothy's salad became social success. Recipes shared and adapted until everyone knew the secret. Community wisdom defeating individual limitation. Innovation disguised as hospitality. Every bite carried lesson. Comfort comes in many forms. Familiarity can be created anywhere. Love makes everything taste like home. Number 14. Prune Whip Dessert. Dried fruit elevated into elegant dessert, but nothing medicinal about how it satisfied sweet cravings. Prunes became elegant dessert when sugar became more precious than jewelry. 1942, when dried fruit provided natural sweetness, families couldn't afford to buy in refined form. Prunes carried nutrition and flavor that transformed into sophisticated treat. Eleanor Davis needed dessert for dinner party. October 1942. Washington, D.C. government rationing affecting everyone, including diplomatic, entertaining. Elegance required creativity. Soak prunes until soft, whip with egg whites and bit of sugar. Fold together until light and airy. Chill until set. Natural sweetness disguised as sophisticated mousse. During the Battle of Midway, families learned their own strategies for creating abundance from scarcity. Kitchen chemistry producing desserts that impressed without breaking rationing rules. Prunes transformed under whipping and time. Dark fruit becoming light, airy, and surprisingly elegant. Dessert that looked like luxury tasted like indulgence. Eleanor's whip impressed diplomatic guests. Recipe requested and shared until everyone discovered the secret. Innovation meeting expectation with remarkable success. Every spoonful proved important truth. Elegance exists in simple things. Creativity conquers limitation. Love makes everything taste more sophisticated. Number 15. Cornmeal mush. This was golden comfort, served when comfort became luxury item. Cornmeal transformed into substantial meal that satisfied bodies and souls. 1943, when corn remained one ingredient families could still afford and find reliably, grain became foundation for meals that stretched budgets and filled stomachs. Rosa Martinez fed her family breakfast, February 1943, East Los Angeles. Husband, working construction, kids needing fuel for school. Cornmeal, transforming morning hunger into satisfied energy. Boil salted water, slowly whisk in cornmeal. Cook until thick and creamy. Serve hot with milk if available, honey if precious. Simple grain becoming substantial nourishment. During the conquest of Sicily, families needed their own sustaining power. Morning fuel that lasted until evening, energy disguised as humble breakfast. Cornmeal transformed under heat and stirring, golden color, creamy texture, and satisfying substance that filled hollow stomachs, comfort food that truly comforted. Rosa's mush sustained her children through school days, shared technique with neighbors facing same morning challenges, community knowledge defeating individual hunger. Every bowlful carried message. Sustenance comes from simple sources. Energy doesn't require expense. Love makes everything nourishing. Number 16, milk toast, they called it. Invalid food, but nothing weak about how it nourished families when nourishment became challenging. Milk toast provided gentle comfort when gentle comfort was needed most. 1944, when milk became rationed luxury, but toast remained possible with careful bread management. Simple combination creating something greater than its parts. Helen Murphy comforted sick child. March 1944, rural Iowa. Daughter fevering, needing something mild but nourishing. Kitchen offering limited but loving options. Toast bread lightly, place in bowl, heat milk with bit of butter and salt. Pour over toast, let absorb. Simple combination, becoming soothing medicine. During the D-Day preparations, families needed their own gentle victories. Comfort food that actually comforted. Healing disguised as humble meal. Bread absorbed warm milk completely. Soft texture, mild flavor, and satisfying warmth that settled upset stomachs and worried hearts. Food as medicine, medicine as love. Helen's toast comforted more than illness. Neighbors learned the technique for their own difficult moments. Community knowledge, sharing comfort, Innovation disguised as caring. Every spoonful carried healing. Comfort exists in simple combinations. Love makes everything medicinal. Nourishment comes in gentle forms. Number 17. Bean and onion casserole. This wasn't just side dish. This was protein powerhouse disguised as humble vegetable medley. Beans carried nutrition families needed when nutrition became expensive luxury. 1943, when dried beans cost pennies but provided protein equivalent to meat costing dollars. Legumes became foundation for meals that sustained hard-working bodies. Giuseppe Romano fed construction crew. August 1943. New York's Little Italy, men building defense plants needed substantial food. Budget-demanding creative protein solutions. Soak beans overnight, cook until tender. Layer with sliced onions, seasonings, bit of oil. Bake until golden and bubbling. Simple ingredients, creating satisfying substance. During the invasion of Italy, families needed their own strategic nutrition. Protein that sustained energy without requiring rationing stamps. Strength, disguised as simple casserole, beans transformed under slow cooking. Creamy texture, rich flavor, and substantial protein that filled working muscles. Peasant food proving its sophisticated nutrition. Giuseppe's casserole fed more than crew. Recipes shared through immigrant communities. Italian wisdom meeting American necessity. Tradition adapted to new circumstances. Every forkful proved enduring lesson. Strength comes from simple sources. Nutrition doesn't require expense. Love makes everything substantial. Number 18. Molasses cookies. Dark sweetness provided satisfaction. They called them old-fashioned, but nothing outdated about how they satisfied sweet cravings when sugar became rationed commodity. Molasses provided sweetness with character and complexity. 1942, when refined sugar disappeared from store shelves, but molasses remained available and affordable. Dark sweetness, creating cookies with depth and satisfaction. Anna Kowalski baked for Church Bazaar, December 1942, Chicago's South Side. Community fundraiser, needing donated treats, sugar scarce, but spirits requiring sweetness. Mix flour, spices, and molasses with bit of oil. Roll into balls. Bake until edges set. Molasses providing both sweetness and moisture. Old ingredient meeting new necessity. During the Battle of Stalingrad, American kitchens practiced their own form of endurance. Sweet treats that lifted spirits without breaking rationing rules. Molasses transformed simple flour into rich, spicy cookies. Dark color, complex flavor, and satisfying chew that made people forget about missing sugar. Anna's cookies sold quickly at Bazaar. Recipe requested until everyone knew the secret. Community sweetness defeating individual limitation. Innovation disguised as tradition. Every cookie carried message. Sweetness exists in many forms. Complexity beats simplicity. Love makes everything taste richer. Number 19. Tomato soup cake. This was chemistry, creating sweetness from savory ingredients. Tomato soup transformed into moist, spiced cake that satisfied dessert cravings. 1944. When cake ingredients became rationed luxuries but canned soup remained available and affordable. Innovation requiring willingness to experiment with unexpected combinations. Betty Williams needed birthday cake for husband. April 1944. Detroit's Corktown, returning veteran, deserving celebration. Traditional ingredients impossible to obtain or afford. Mixed tomato soup with flour, spices, and bit of sugar. Batter looking strange but baking into something familiar and satisfying. Science disguised as kitchen magic. During the liberation of Rome, families created their own celebrations. Joy expressed through desserts that shouldn't work but somehow did. Innovation born from determination. Tomato soup transformed under heat and time. Moisture and flavor creating tender spiced cake. Color and texture that surprised and delighted skeptical tasters. Betty's cake amazed birthday guests. Recipes shared and adapted until everyone understood the secret. Community experimentation defeating individual doubt. Innovation disguised as celebration. Every slice proved important truth. Creativity conquers convention. Unexpected combinations create delight. Love makes everything possible. Number 20. Potato candy. Confection emerged from root cellar vegetables. They called it depression candy, but nothing depressing about how it satisfied sweet cravings. Potatoes transformed into confection when confection became unaffordable luxury. 1943, when sugar rationing made candy store treats impossible for most families. But sweetness could be created from vegetables hiding in root cellars. Mary O'Sullivan needed treats for Halloween. October 1943, Boston's Dorchester, children expecting sweetness despite wartime shortages. Kitchen offering unexpected solutions. Mash cooked potato with powdered sugar and peanut butter. Roll thin, cut into squares. Vegetables becoming candy through simple kitchen alchemy. During the Battle of Tarawa, families created their own small victories. Sweetness that cost pennies but provided precious moments of normalcy and joy. Potato provided smooth texture, sugar added sweetness, peanut butter contributed flavor and richness. Result that fooled taste buds and satisfied sweet tooth completely. Mary's candy delighted neighborhood children. Recipes shared between mothers until everyone knew the secret. Community sweetness defeating individual limitation. Every piece carried lesson. Joy comes from unexpected places. Creativity creates abundance. Love makes everything sweet. Number 21. Baking powder biscuits. This wasn't just quick bread. This was daily miracle performed in kitchens when store-bought bread became luxury item. Baking powder biscuits carried comfort and sustenance. 1942, when commercial bakeries reduced production due to ingredient shortages. Families learned to create their own bread, their own comfort, their own daily sustenance. Sarah Johnson needed bread for supper. June 1942, rural Alabama. Store 15 miles away, gas rationed, family needing food that filled stomachs and lifted spirits. Mix flour, baking powder, salt, and bit of shortening. Add milk to form soft dough, roll out, cut, bake until golden. Simple technique creating complex satisfaction. During the Coral Sea Battle, families battled their own shortages. Kitchen victories that sustained morale and filled hungry stomachs. Comfort disguised as necessity. Baking powder created lift and lightness. Heat transformed simple ingredients into golden, fluffy biscuits. Steam rising like prayers. Aroma promising satisfaction. Sarah's biscuits became family tradition. Recipes shared with neighbors until everyone could create daily bread. Community knowledge defeating individual need. Every biscuit carried message. Comfort can be created anywhere home smells like baking bread. Love rises in warm ovens. Number 22, cabbage and noodles. This was elegant simplicity disguised as humble meal. Cabbage and noodles created satisfaction when satisfaction required creativity and economy. 1944, when pasta provided affordable substance and cabbage offered nutrition that stretched budgets. Simple combination creating complex comfort. Anna Novak fed her boarding house. September 1944. Cleveland's Slavic village. Defense workers needing substantial meals. Budget demanding creative solutions that satisfied working appetites. Cooked noodles until tender. Sauté cabbage with onions until soft. Combined with bit of butter and seasonings. Simple ingredients creating surprising satisfaction. During the Warsaw Uprising, American families learned their own lessons about making much from little. Kitchen wisdom that sustained bodies and lifted spirits. Cabbage transformed under heat and time. Sweet, tender, and surprisingly satisfying when combined with pasta. Comfort food that truly provided comfort. Anna's dish pleased demanding borders. Recipes shared through immigrant communities. Old world wisdom meeting new world necessity. Tradition adapted to circumstances. Every forkful proved enduring truth. Satisfaction comes from simple combinations. Comfort food transcends cultures. Love makes everything nourishing. Number 23. They called it nursery food, but nothing childish about how it stretched milk and rice into substantial dessert. Rice pudding provided sweetness and nutrition when both were precious. 1943. When deserts required rationing stamps, but rice remained available, and milk could be stretched into something special. Comfort dessert that actually comforted. Margaret Kelly needed dessert for Sunday dinner. November 1943, Philadelphia's Fishtown. Extended family gathering expecting traditional meal. Sugar scarce, but traditions requiring adaptation. Cook rice and milk with bit of sugar and vanilla. Stir until creamy and thick. Serve warm or cold. Simple grain becoming elegant dessert. During the Tehran Conference, families created their own diplomatic solutions. desserts that pleased without breaking rationing rules, sweetness that satisfied expectations. Rice absorbed milk completely, becoming creamy and rich. Natural sweetness enhanced by vanilla, comfort enhanced by familiarity. Dessert that felt like luxury. Margaret's pudding pleased family gathering. Recipe shared between generations until everyone understood the technique. Community knowledge creating individual success. Every spoonful carried message. Comfort comes in simple forms. Tradition adapts to necessity. Love makes everything sweet. Number 24. Fried green tomatoes. This wasn't just using unripe fruit. This was culinary wisdom that transformed gardening mistakes into family favorites. Green tomatoes became special treat when treats were rare. 1944, when gardens provided whatever they provided and waste became unthinkable. Every tomato, ripe or not, needed to contribute to family nutrition and satisfaction. Ruby Washington faced early frost, September 1944, rural Georgia. Tomato plants loaded with green fruit, winter coming, family needing every scrap of garden production. Sliced green tomatoes, thick dredge, and cornmeal and flour. Fry until golden and crispy. Unripe fruit, becoming something better than the ripe version. During the liberation of Belgium, families learned their own strategies for salvaging what seemed lost. Kitchen victories that turned disappointment into delight. Green tomatoes transformed under heat and breading. Tangy, crispy, and surprisingly satisfying. Mistake becoming specialty through creative cooking. Ruby's tomatoes became neighborhood favorite. Recipe shared until everyone knew how to salvage green fruit. Community knowledge defeating individual disappointment. Every slice proved important lesson. Waste is choice, not necessity. Creativity conquers disappointment. Love finds ways to make everything delicious. Number 25. Vinegar pie. They called it desperation pie, but nothing desperate about the satisfaction it provided. Vinegar pie created sweetness from pantry staples, when pantry staples were all families had. 1943, when pie remained essential to American identity, but pie fillings required ingredients that rationing made impossible. Vinegar provided tang that transformed into surprising sweetness. Louise Harper needed dessert for church social. December 1943, small town Arkansas. Community expecting her contributions. Fruit cellar empty, sugar rationed, but reputation requiring maintenance. Mix vinegar, sugar, flour, and water. Cook until thick, pour into pastry shell. Bake until golden. Chemistry creating custard-like filling from almost nothing. During the Christmas season of 1943, families created their own miracles. Desserts that shouldn't work, but somehow provided exactly what was needed. Faith, disguised as pie, vinegar transformed under heat and sugar. Tang, becoming sweetness, liquid becoming custard. Result that surprised skeptics and satisfied sweet tooth completely. Louise's pie amazed church social. Recipe requested until everyone understood the secret. Community innovation defeating individual limitation. Wisdom disguised as dessert. Every slice carried revelation. Abundance exists in unexpected places. Chemistry creates miracles. Love makes everything possible. These 25 recipes tell America's real wartime story. Not story of deprivation and going without. Story of innovation, community, and refusing to let circumstances define possibilities. Our grandmothers and great-grandmothers took whatever they had, made it into something worth sharing, worth remembering, worth preserving for generations who might face their own challenging times. These recipes survived because they worked, because they took scraps and made feasts, because they proved that abundance isn't about having everything. This isn't just food history. This is American resilience. When everything else gets stripped away, we still find ways to nourish each other. That's community. That's love. That's the American spirit rising like bread dough in warm kitchens. If these stories touched you, share this video. Subscribe to keep these forgotten recipes alive. Because some wisdom transcends rationing. Some creativity survives everything. Some love lasts forever. Measured in cups, mixed with hope. Served with dignity.